to Modern Male Radio with Jared Zavostosky, right here on LA Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jared Zavostosky, and you're listening to Modern Male Radio. This is all the stuff your mama should have told you and the shit your daddy never knew. And I hope you guys enjoyed the new intro that is Speechless by the Gatsby Affair. Shout out to my friend Ron Beam. We're going to recut that a little bit, but first time, maybe second time's a charm on this one. And tonight we've got some special guests. I'd like to introduce Sarah Chapman. You were a radio host at one point?
A former co-host on another station. We won't even mention it, but yes.
And she's the new photographer for the Modern Male Movement, and she's handling a lot of our sponsors, a lot of our sponsor deals. So if you want to sponsor Modern Male Radio, you can get in touch with Sarah. She's going to be handling most of this for us.
Absolutely. And
we have a very special guest tonight. Was it Playmate of the Year, or was it Miss?
Playmate of the Year.
Playmate of the Year. Okay, yes. Because I remember the first time I talked to you, I think I called you a Cybergirl, and you got really offended. You're like, oh my God, Cybergirl? So Playmate of the Year, Kennedy Summers. Yeah, there needs to be some applause right here.
So that was 2014 Playmate of the Year. That's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Aw.
Yeah, like we're not worthy right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think I also was like, hey, do you know Tina Jordan? She was 2002 Playmate of the Year. We've had her on the show a few times. One of my besties. You're like, nah, I don't know. Fuck that bitch.
You know how old I was in 2002?
True. No, I don't actually. How old were you?
Like 15.
Oh my God. Okay. Was it on your mind though? It couldn't have been, because that's actually what we're going to be talking about tonight. I was coaching some kid the other day, and there was this group of girls, and I was like, yeah, you should go over there and talk to him. And he was like, no, I already talked to him. And I was like, what's the problem? And he's like, well, they're all lawyers. And I'm like, that's awesome. So they got something going for them. Like, go talk to him. And he's like, no, I don't like girls that are smarter than me. And I was like, what? And then I came to realize that could be a common trend in a lot of guys, that maybe education is intimidating. And I looked up your bio before you came on the show, and I was like, holy shit, you've got a lot of stuff going. You've got a degree in anthropology?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. And then you've also got, an administrative master's in nursing?
Master's in Healthcare Administration.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Got that little tongue tied there, guy. I'm just so nervous right now. Pretty girls walk in the room, and I'm like, oh my God. I don't even know where to stand. I'm like in the waiting room, and I'm like bumping into shit, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself right now. I'm gonna walk away and act important. That's the only way.
But you brought flowers, or somebody brought flowers. So
So
points.
Awesome. So we can actually get that right out of the way. Our sponsor is Flores Oath. They've been taking really great care of us. Why don't you go ahead and open those and show them what they sent you. Now these are amazing. You don't have to do it like that. Yeah, just flip it.
Flip the box.
In fact, we're upside down.
Probably.
We've done it wrong.
How many girls does it take to hold a box of flowers?
We're not promo models.
Yeah, fair enough.
Really heavy.
Fair enough. Good point. Okay, so those are from Flores Oath, guys. They have a ton of different arrangements. I think that one goes for $200-300. Awesome gifts to give your girlfriend, and they've got so many different colors. So if you fuck up not once but twice, but maybe 3 times, you can always. You can get a full arrangement of awesome shit.
We're just having a moment.
Okay, so you guys can go ahead and close that box.
Okay.
Oh, and it even has your name engraved on it. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, it does. How sweet.
Beautiful.
So is Kennedy your real name for our stalkers out there?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Summers your real name?
Yeah.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, now you know where you can stalk her. This is awesome. So many guys out there are like, yes, we found it. Now, how many Summers are there in America? Probably a million.
It's probably like Smith or Jones or.
Yeah. Thankfully, I'm the only Zavostosky in America. The only Jared Zavostosky alive in America.
So that makes you really easy to stalk.
Yeah, you heard it here first, guys. There you go.
Where's the name from?
It's Polish.
Nice.
Polish, German. We have much. I think all 3 of us have much similar descent.
Nice.
We are.
I'm a unicorn. I don't know.
You got some stuff
There's
in
some
you.
Eastern European.
Yeah.
A
mutt.
I'm a little bit muddy.
Yeah. Fair
So
enough.
just say that.
I say German, Polish. I'm a little bit more mutt anyway. But you're from Germany, right? You're born in Germany?
Yes, but I'm not German.
Okay. So what are you?
Military.
Okay. Besides that, no. Like, what's your nationality?
Swedish, English, Irish, and some kind of Middle Eastern.
Okay. So you were geographically placed there, but not of there, and we're of there and not geographically placed there. It's an interesting little thing there, but not as interesting as I'm making it seem. So, tell me, have you run into? I think that's our. We should mention right off the bat that Kennedy actually got in a car accident yesterday, right? And you're
2 days ago.
Oh
my gosh.
What happened?
I got hit at an intersection while I was stopped and got run into the SUV in front of me.
Okay.
I got a pretty good concussion out of it.
Yeah, that's exciting.
That is not exciting. That is horrible.
Blame it on my ADD, baby. Yeah, no, I've had quite a few concussions actually.
They suck.
Yeah.
Your memory's ggone.
Yeah, and you're just a space cadet, like, huh?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's like
amazing.
Oh, there's a fly on the wall. What is that? Have you guys seen that cartoon with the cat, Simon's cat?
No.
And he's like, it's this drawn out cartoon of this cat, and it's like there's one where there's a fly flying around. He sits there and he's like,
Wait,
and
I
he's
have
like,
seen it.
he starts like running on the side of the wall. It's awesome. You guys are gonna remember that. Anybody who's seen Simon's Cat's clapping right now because it's one of the most awesome cartoons ever. But yeah, no. So we'll keep everything kind of short because I know how it is to have a concussion. It doesn't do well for your vocabulary. But right off the bat, I'm sure you've had to deal with tons and tons and tons and tons of guys hitting on you pretty much your whole life.
Some, yeah.
Some?
Yeah.
Name one guy that you've met that hasn't hit on you.
I have a gay best friend. He's never hit on me.
Okay, perfect. I'm sure men run into walls a lot around you. Like, do you find that men are clumsy? Do you think that as like a normal thing? Like, all men are clumsy because men are mostly clumsy around you?
I've seen a couple accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Bicycles, mostly.
Was the car accident someone checking you out?
No, I'm pretty sure he was texting.
Oh, that's terrible. Either way, I mean,
he was checking you out. He was texting and then he checked you out, or he was trying to take a picture. Hey,
He had his mom with him. She was pretty traumatized.
Oh no.
Serves you right, you motherfucker. Yeah, so clumsiness around you. I'm sure that happens occasionally, more than just on bikes. Guys get nervous. I'm nervous. It happens. I almost ran into the wall just now. I almost fell off my chair a few times. Like, it's been horrible. I'm serious. You have these pretty girls on here, and you don't even anticipate it. There's no foreplay. You just end up having these gorgeous women on here, and you meet them, and you're like, and that's why I created the show, guys, because I dealt with the same issues that you deal with. I'm just as inept as most of you are. That's a lie. But I wanted to talk specifically about the educational factors. Do you find that being smart hinders your dating, your love life at all?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It's bad.
Okay. So in what ways? Let's get some problem areas out there.
Oh, my God. People always want to fight you on everything. It's like, I was dating a guy not that long ago who would ask me questions like, oh, what's gluten? And so I would explain to him what it is. And then halfway through, he'd look at me and go, you're so pretty. And I'm like, okay.
Wow, what a patronizing fuck.
Wow.
Yeah. No great loss.
Wait, what is gluten?
It's kind of wheat protein.
Yeah, but it sticks to like the inside of your intestines, right? That's why it's bad, because it kind of like...
It can trigger an autoimmune reaction in some people. Protein tends to have receptors, and these receptors can, I don't know, basically it'll like eat away at your intestines, cause diarrhea, like problems.
Fun. That's exciting.
It also impairs your ability to digest lactose. So you become lactose intolerant.
So that's why most people are then gluten-free and lactose intolerant.
If you're celiac, yeah.
Right.
Interesting. So yeah, no, I don't really, I don't eat a lot of bread or a lot of milk. So that's probably why the gluten things never come up. But my brother and my mom both are like, there's a sudden gluten intolerance, and I was like, oh wow, I should probably watch out for that. Seeing as how both of my family members over the age of 30 got it. So, that sucks that people are patronizing. I'm not sure of the actual pronunciation of it. I'm sure you've had to deal with this as well, Sarah.
I have, sure.
Yeah.
I have, of course. And there's really nothing you can do. I mean, if you realize that someone is just staring at you and trying to get you to speak to them because they have nothing that they're going to say to you because they're nervous or intimidated, or if they're actually trying to test your intelligence, what do you do?
I'm not sure that men try and I think men are competitive and dominant by nature, and anything that they can't be better at than a girl, they're suddenly like... Like, it just, it caps them at the knees, and they're like, they can't handle it. They don't know how to be comfortable in what they've got going on for themselves. They just have to be better than a girl.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a funny thing. 'Cause it's like, honestly, most guys, if you had to do half the shit that women have to do, you'd suck at that too. But because it's a female thing, it's made okay. I think in a lot of circumstances, like, you know.
Have you ever been brunette?
Oh, yes. Naturally brunette. So
You know the difference between how they treat blondes and brunettes.
Oh, completely.
Right? It's a whole different world.
it
Okay,
actually
so-
it serves as a filter for me. And I think I was telling you this before. A lot of times when I'm brunette, I'm way more approachable, and I don't want to be approached. So I find that being more blonde, people are a little bit more intimidated, and I don't get as much attention.
Wow, I have
Which-
the opposite.
And maybe it's because they know I'm not naturally blonde, so they're like, uh-oh, she's a smart, like super smart, like sneaky, look out for her, she's deceptive, or whatever it is. I don't know. But of course, you know, the stereotypes are going to be there no matter what, no matter how smart you are either way. But that's just what I've experienced.
What do you get when you're blonde?
A lot of guys who want to sleep with you. When you're brunette, you get a lot of guys who want to date you.
Interesting.
They take you more seriously.
Interesting.
Men are genetically predisposed to like brunettes better.
Are they?
Yes.
All men in general are genetically predisposed.
As far as evolutionary biology is concerned, yes.
Ooh, explain that.
There's a theory that says that blondes evolved as a way to distract men's attention away from ordinary brunettes. And so as a result, I guess there's like a man shortage, and so blondes are eye-catching, but they're more seen as like a sex object rather than the traditional mom figure, I guess.
Interesting. So, and that's an anthropological? Is it anthropological? How the fuck do you say that word?
That was something we studied in evolutionary psychology
Okay.
a while ago. I had a minor in psych when I was doing a pre-med program.
Do you really think that women's hair evolved on the basis of procreation and not environmental factors, being that they were up north and things were, I mean, because what would you say about eyes? Eye color evolved because of the reflection of the snow and stuff, right?
Not sure. I mean, there are definitely lots of different theories. There are some people that would say, yeah, because you need to get more of that vitamin D, the sunlight. You know, in Africa, they got the darker skin. In Sweden, we got the lighter skin.
Mhm.
But, you know, just another theory. No one knows for sure.
Because they're up in the Alps.
But
The Alps are in Switzerland, sorry.
no, evolutionary biologists think that the meaning of life is reproduction, so everything ties back to sex.
Yeah, no, and I've come to find that in almost all of my coaching. Anything that I've ever thought about long enough and hard enough boils down to man, woman, and procreation. The things that men are attracted to have specifically to do with procreation. I mean, realistically, like if aliens came down here, I'm sure they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, she's hot, she's not. It really has to do with, you know, a person is attracted to what's going to give them better babies. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are so attracted to people outside of the race. I don't know. I've met people who are weirdos who are only attracted to, you know, people specifically in their race. But in general, I think it's alluring. And I don't know. What do you guys think?
That's a pretty good question.
Are you guys playing footsie under there? What are you doing?
No. I don't. Do you want to take this one first? I mean,
I'm going to give you a nerd answer again.
Okay, please.
Okay, technically, you should be more attracted to people who are very, very genetically different to you because it will have stronger immunity for your children.
Yeah, first rule of genetics, spread the genes apart.
It's healthier for your offspring, so
Yeah.
it's a natural phenomenon.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I like it. I'm loving this. Like, we should have you on more. There's so many
Nerd
good.
talk.
What made you decide to switch from anthropology to nursing, or
I actually went to medical school for an
medical
MD.
school? Okay.
And I wanted a challenge. I was kind of getting that whole "you're a model, you're an idiot" thing, and I was like, I'm done. I'm going to med school. Like, I'm gonna prove it to myself that I'm not an idiot because I'm starting to believe it after hearing it so much. And then I got there and I was not completely challenged. I was kind of like, okay. And so I got my master's at the same time. And
So she became Playmate of the Year and got her master's to prove a point while she was bored with both.
and I dropped out of med school, but now I do finance, so it's okay.
Okay, so no more Playboy stuff.
No, I still do that.
Okay, so it's just okay. Interesting.
Day trading and Playboy.
Day trading and Playboy. Interesting. Yeah, I know. I get it. I get why you'd have a hard time finding a boyfriend. A lot of guys would find that very intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it fascinating though. Tell me more about you that I don't know.
It's only fascinating until like it becomes a competition thing. It's really interesting in the beginning, and then it's not.
Okay. I could see
get
that.
bored.
Competing. And there is that thing that exists. Like, I think when men are younger, they have this desire, this need to dominate, be right, all the time. I mean, you see it in little groups of guys. They're always trying to one-up each other, and I'm right and you're wrong, and da-da-da. And it takes a lot for a human being, especially a male, to let that go and say, hey, you know what? I can be wrong in this circumstance because it's going to allow me to learn something. And the more you learn, the more experienced you become, and then the more right you become anyway. It's kind of a funny little circle there. But I've noticed that. I've seen that a lot when people argue to be right or to be heard or to speak. And it's like, what are you arguing for? Just, like, learn, Or, well, oh, I don't know about that. And they go over there on Wikipedia. They're, like, looking it up. Like, well, you were completely right. You were right on, like, 4 points. But, and, Sarah, you've had quite an interesting experience with men.
Sure.
All over the spectrum.
Sure. I mean, it's I don't know what that means, but it's hard to find a balance between the dominance and the just total doormat. Finding someone that is, like, kind of match wits. Mm-hmm. When you don't have to always have power struggles over everything. And I don't know, I prefer to laugh and have a good time. If I can't laugh with my best friend type of situation, like for a relationship or partnership, then I'm with the wrong person. Mm-hmm. That's really how I feel.
That's fair.
Yeah, humor is important. I think education is important, personally. Not even just education. I mean, you don't have to go to school to be smart.
That is very true.
But when somebody has gone to school and they have that degree, that med degree, of course.
Someday.
Wait, so you're not gonna continue that? You're done?
For the time being. I wouldn't rule it out, but we'll see.
Okay.
I've been doing another project.
Okay. What's the other project?
I'm starting a nonprofit.
Oh, cool. With what?
Children with facial deformities, sponsoring plastic surgery.
That's cute.
Thanks.
That's great.
Adorable.
That's very admirable.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when that comes out, you guys will have you'll definitely be the spokesperson.
Yeah.
Yeah, got the looks for it.
Thank you.
So no plastic. Have you had plastic surgery? Is that an appropriate question to answer?
Pretty
Playboy.
personal.
I mean, like, who hasn't?
Well, I broke my nose a couple times. I mean, I guess that technically counts as plastic surgery.
Reconstructive. You get a pass.
No. It broke this way, and it was like all over here, and then somebody broke it that way, and it kind of ended up perfect. Yeah. No, it was freak of nature. I'm lucky. I got a really hard head, but apparently my nose doesn't bode well for that. Cool. So I'm trying to but just tell me more about you, because every time I end up trying to talk about something else comes out, and it's like, oh wow, that's awesome, that's interesting. Let's.
I actually dropped out of college when I was 18.
Okay.
And I moved to Italy.
Okay.
I really wanted to go study abroad, and my parents said they weren't going to pay for me to party in Europe. So I said, okay, I'm going to go join a modeling agency, and I will see you guys later. And from that point on, I spent, I guess, 6 or 7 years just traveling Europe and Asia and modeling.
Okay.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Lived in China.
That's great.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. No, that's exciting. So yeah, no, I don't get. I'm really trying to rationalize. What do you guys think? What do you guys think is the defining factor that makes most men insecure around women when it comes to intellect? Probably should have given you these questions before we came on the show. I didn't know it was going to get this deep, okay? Normally it's just a bunch of witty shit, and we kind of joke around, and now I'm just like, I'm throwing the zingers at you guys. I'm sorry.
I'm so not a hardliner in these questions. I'm like, it could go one way or, 5 different ways. Mm-hmm. Definitely 5 different ways for me. A full package is the most intimidating thing. I mean, it's got to be a combination of things to really.
Yeah, but I think most people would go through their whole lives really wanting a full package. And then it's like, be careful what you wish for.
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly.
Because it's funny. I was talking about this with somebody the other day in regards to weight. And I was like, I really want to look like that guy. Because I was like, I want to fucking like just 9-pack and veins and like all this shit. And
Did you just say 9-pack?
And veins?
Yeah, no, well, maybe not like huge veins, but like I wanted to look all shredded out.
Yeah.
And I've long known that like it's if you did the same thing to a girl, that's the equivalent of that. So it's like I always thought it was like men were supposed to be muscular, so therefore when we were allowed to look like that. And when I see a guy that looks like that, I'm like, fuck, I want to look like that guy. But then I've realized that it's the exact same in reverse. That when you see a woman bodybuilder, that's the equivalent of a male bodybuilder to a woman. And it's like, oh wow, so yeah, I wouldn't want to fuck that girl. So it took me a long time to understand that. And that was like my only reasoning behind weight. And then all of a sudden, somebody else brought it to my attention. And she goes, "Oh well, I don't want you to gain weight because I don't want you to make me feel fat, or I don't want you to get more buff or more ripped because I don't want you to make me feel bad about myself." And I was like, "Holy shit, that's interesting."
That's insecure.
That is insecure.
It is very insecure.
Yeah.
But
So are guys with intelligence.
I can see that. Yeah, there are a lot of guys out there that aren't. I don't know. I think that most guys think that they're smart, and more power to them. This little one, it's so cute. But when it comes right down to it, knowing a lot isn't intelligence. Not the same thing.
True.
And I think a lot of men are kind of fact collectors, and that only stands up so far, especially in the course of conversation.
Until they're Googling while you're like at the bathroom out to dinner or something like that, and then you come back and they've got a whole bunch of new facts, and they just keep refilling the water glass, so you can just keep refilling the Google searches for stuff to talk about. No.
Well, I don't watch TV, and I'm on Google all day, so thanks.
You're so welcome. Giving away secrets.
No, I mean, it's just fascinating stuff. Like, I love getting all rabbit holed into the fucking internet and just being like, oh, what is that? Oh, what does that mean? Ooh, who's that? Da, da, da. And, fucking 8 hours later, I'm like, did you know that all of this really awesome stuff is happening right now in the world? I'm actually not big on current affairs. Really big on science, though. The fascinating shit that happens. It's like, it trips me the fuck out. There's so many interesting things that go on biologically and then sociologically that that nature versus nurture, it's kind of always on my mind. And I wonder what about, if that is nature versus nurture, that when a guy's intimidated by a smart girl, what do you guys think? You guys are both staring at me just like.
I mean, technically when people have insecurities, it usually comes back to, I wouldn't say defective parenting, but not necessarily a parent who was there for you and cared for you. It usually relates to some kind of issues, maybe with the mom figure.
Okay.
The dad was maybe the strong male figure provider, and maybe the mom was the homemaker and didn't really work, and so they weren't exposed to him being intelligent. And even if the mom was intelligent, she wasn't necessarily using it. Mm-hmm. She was just kind of there to help the kid and guide him through his life, and so.
Yeah, it could have something to do with it, because I grew up with a single mom, so I was very used to my mom kind of doing everything and taking care of everything, and filling both roles. So I go after very strong women as opposed to like submissive, stupid women who are just like, I don't know. I'm like, how the fuck could you know? Like, how do you not have an opinion right now? And they're like, well, I don't know. I don't feel good. I'm like, think, woman, think. I think that intelligence actually, it's funny because I've often said that the weight of my heart is through my, or the weight of my balls is through my brain. Yeah. I think it's cute and catchy. The weight of my balls is through my brain. That's the only way that you're going to get me excited or aroused or in any way establish any connection, like past maybe an initial like, hey, what's up? You're hot. Let's fuck. And then past that, there's nothing that's ever going to happen unless there's some depth and capacity to your mind. Because I've met really smart people who are really stupid. I've met some people that I've met doctors who I'm like, oh my God, you fucking work on people. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, me too. I went to med school with them. You'd be amazed at the people who are your doctors. Amazed. Like, I've never seen such substance abuse problems. I've never seen such psychological disorders.
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
Yeah, okay. That's exciting. Good to know. I think I've met a few of them. I got what was it? Oh, the day I got the scar, I went to an ER, and I had been partying pretty hard, and I got in a fight, and I ended up at the ER, and this guy comes in, and he's like he's sitting there, and he's like, oh, we're just gonna sedate him, and I was like, no, don't sedate me. I'm like, just fucking numb it and stitch it up, and it'll be fine. And he starts to sign his thing, and his hand was just shaking like viciously, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at the nurse, and then he like walks out of the room, and he's like, just sedate him, it'll be fine. da-da-da. And I'm like, I was on a lot of substances at the time. I'm not gonna name which ones, but I was like, if you fucking sedate me, I might die. But I wasn't about to volunteer that to them. So I got up and I tried to leave, and they wouldn't let me leave. And this guy's sitting over there, and they're like, why don't you want to work on you? And I'm like I fucking took a pen off the desk and I threw it at him, and I'm like, write my name right now. Write it down without going all over the place. So I ended up actually having to like sneak out of the hospital.
What?
Yeah, no, like I went, like finally I was like, they're like, well, another doctor will be here in like 30 minutes. And I was like, cool. And I went back to my room, and then I closed the thing and I snuck out the back. And I mean, this gash on my forehead was huge. Yeah.
You can't even see it.
I freaked my
Did a
cat.
good job.
I went and got CO2 laser treatment at Metro MD. They do the stem cell thing. They were a sponsor in the very, very beginning of the show.
Yeah, I was just going to say, where are they? Because you just plugged the shit out of them.
Yeah, no, I have a scar on my head. It's gigantic, and it was this wide open. And it had glass in there and all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh my gosh, can't tell at all.
No.
Oh, well, thank you.
Now we're just stroking his ego.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
That's Dr. Alex Martin at metromd.net.
He's like, I love this guy.
No, I mean, he's hooked us up with a lot of stuff. He cured my mom's arthritis in her foot. He did that laser treatment.
Wow.
He gave my mom CO2 laser treatment, so she looks like 10 years younger.
Nice.
Your mom is gorgeous, though. Have you seen pictures of his mom? She's amazing.
Yeah, she got some good looks. That's where I got my looks from. My mama. It's kind of creepy though. My mom and my dad look like they could be brother and sister.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Mine not at all. No.
First rule of genetics: find the genes apart.
They pretty much did.
All
But
right.
yeah.
Well, it worked out.
Thanks.
Cool. So, you guys are killing me here.
We should just turn the tables on this one. Anything you want to know about Jared?
I've already divulged so much. It's funny because if you actually go over the course of the show, you get so much that like when people ask me, they're like, "Oh, so what's your bio?" And I'm like, "Just watch the entirety of the show, and you'll get my whole life story in little bits and pieces. I plug it here and there." So you just got a movie, right? Muck. What is that?
It's a horror movie.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
It's an indie film.
I
Yeah.
love horror movies. Is that your first one? Have you been in movies before?
No.
Oh,
It's
nice.
the first one, so yeah, we'll see.
How exciting.
Yeah.
I did a fake horror thing back in junior high. There's no way I can relate to that one. I can't watch horror movies. I'm sorry. Like when people are they're all into them, and I'm like, I can't. I get scared.
I do too. I go into the who wrote this and what's wrong with his head kind
Yeah.
of thing. I'm not like watching it. I'm like, somebody's really messed up, dude.
Every time I watch anything or read anything, I'm thinking about the person that created it. And that's the first rule in film school, is they teach you only write about what you know. And I mean, I briefly went to film school, and so you're sitting there thinking like, who the fuck is writing this shit? Like, yeah, no, all the time.
No, thank you.
Like the Saw movies, I'm like,
Until they offer you $30 million to be in that movie, then maybe you might not question it so much or something like that.
no, but I mean, there was always that Inception. There was always some dude who's like, this is my masterpiece. Like, this is my fucking gem, my thing. And he puts it out there, and somebody reads it and like, oh my God, this is so sick. It's unreal. And it's like, did you just imagine that dude sitting there at night, Oh, yeah.
No, you would think that would be like an inmate or some type of person that's done some pretty bad things in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, I guess writing about it would be pretty cathartic if you actually thought about doing those things, but it's still really messed up.
Sociopaths hide well in society.
True.
The good ones hide.
Mm-hmm.
The psychopaths tend to end up in prison.
It's actually the same thing.
There's a difference.
No,
Oh,
I Googled this.
goody.
No, it's the same.
Are you sure?
Well, it's not the same. Sociopath isn't the one that like tortures small animals and has like these problems that kill people. A psychopath is the one that actually kills people and hurts animals and stuff.
Okay.
It's like a subset of sociopath.
Okay.
They're related, but not the same. It's like only a small percentage of sociopaths are psychopaths.
I will have to look that one up later, because I announced on the show like a few shows back that psychopath and sociopath were actually the same, because I had looked that up that day. I forget, it was one of my Google things, my little wormholes, and I was like, wait, what? So sociopath was like coined and it was a movie phrase or something in the 50s, but you actually went to college, so I might be wrong.
I went to medical school.
Yeah.
But
So Jared's a
isn't,
dumb. Jared's a dumb.
Isn't the defining difference that the sociopath has no remorse and no regret, and the psychopath might or they might acknowledge it, or I'm not sure, obviously, what I'm asking.
Yeah, they actually don't have any remorse. They're both really similar. It's just they find that a sociopath is someone with bottleneck emotions. So they can feel stuff. And like a psychopath can feel things, but sociopaths aren't doing criminal activities. They're not like drowning animals. They just don't do the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff, the Charles Manson stuff. They tend to be doctors and lawyers and politicians.
Oh, so just like emotionless and
heartless. They're like narcissists, kind of. They're like a smarter narcissist.
Okay, that's interesting. All right.
That's what they say. We don't technically agree, like medically, but
I love having smart people on the show. I learn stuff all day long, and I get to do it in front of you guys, which is so amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's cool. You know what?
I'm done talking in front of guys.
No, and to the point, like I love it. Like I absolutely love learning new stuff, and you know I've learned amazingly interesting things on the show, and that's one of the biggest things I think that people don't like to be wrong, and they let that get in the way of what could be an amazing opportunity at learning, or at growing. And it's like, now I'm going to go home, I'm going to look it up, not to prove a point, but because I want to know. I don't want to I don't want to be out there spewing bad information all the time. Like, it's such a liberating thing to know that you're right with 100% certainty. But I mean, really, what is 100% certainty? Because at some point, somebody defined those things. Things change. I don't know if you ever read the DSM, but from beginning to end, or I'm sorry, I should say from the series beginning to the series end, it's like, there's like fucking 18 different bipolar diagnoses now. There's little subcategories and subsets and and I'm like, oh my God, like, because one wasn't enough. And when I first got bipolar in 1995, kids couldn't even get it. It was only bipolar 1 and bipolar 2, and it was an adult disease. So in the last 20 years, bipolar is actually subset out into 18 different categories. And it's just crazy that the more people study and the more they get to understand stuff, our facts and figures changes. Like Pluto's no longer a planet. What the fuck?
Right?
Yeah.
That ruined my childhood.
Yeah, totally just took my childhood.
All those science experiments.
Yeah, and I wonder if someday certain things that a lot of people, I mean, shit. It's like what in the last 50 years, women went from not being allowed to vote to where our next president may be a woman. I think Hillary's running, right?
I heard she's the head.
Yeah.
I hope she gets it, We had Obama. Let's have a woman. Like, let's move forward, America. It's not
do it.
50s. True.
Yeah, no. And it's just, but it's crazy that, like, it in one lifetime, it went from that to explosion. So I really wonder what people are going to think is just idiocy, like, 50 years from now. Like, I wonder what social constructs that we're hanging on to and stuff. And it's funny because even the face of man and woman, masculinity and femininity, is changing. Men are developing less testosterone. Women are starting to find men that are less manly attractive and with more feminine features, slightly, girlier looking. And there was a study that came out just the other day that was talking about that, and I was like, "Oh, this is horseshit."
What people might say is metrosexual, but we don't say metrosexual. And I love that I just said that because I knew he was going to react on it. I'm a fan of his book, so of course I'm.
The entire intro of the book is actually redefining the word metrosexual because I don't believe that that's a very good word. It means building fucker.
It's a terrible word.
Metrosexual. So if heterosexual means you like the opposite sex and homosexual means you like the same sex and bisexual means you like both, then metrosexual would mean that you like to fuck buildings. That's just the root word at the beginning.
Yeah. I'm just surprised. I never thought about it.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't, and there was a writer out of he wrote for GQ, and his name was Mark Sampson or Simpson or whatever, and he coined it, but he was gay, and he actually wrote a ton of stuff, and it was all very, very it was gay propaganda. And it was a counteraction. I mean, because of course, when all that stuff was coming out, I mean, there was a lot of hate towards homosexuality. So the pendulum had to swing a little bit. People had to fight out. But his biggest thing was that everybody is innately bisexual and homosexual, and that, and I don't adhere to that at all. I think sexuality is a spectrum, and I think that everybody has some place on that spectrum. But there are people out there that are not attracted to the same sex. So arguing that, I don't think it would be accurate. However, Mark Simpson had an agenda, and he got away with it for 20 years. And he put this metrosexual out there, and then people kept trying to replace the word, like ubersexual and lumbersexual and all. The fucking beard thing with the lumbersexual, and it's like
Killed me.
they're fucking retarded because they follow
Not
the
happening
exact
over here.
same prose. The word sexual doesn't belong in the definition whatsoever. It should have been heteropolitan, straight male metropolitan area. That's what the word was trying to mean. But heteropolitan just sounds retarded. So we're going with modern male because that's what heteropolitan breaks down to. Modern male. Boom. And man is definitive of too many social. Being a man is completely dependent upon the society you live in. What's a man? You know, being male is innate. It's something that you're born with. So. You guys are both just looking at me like, oh my God, would this guy shut the fuck up?
Taking it all in.
Oh, wow.
He's a smart guy. It's hard not to. He's engaging, so who's listening?
So they're both just sitting there like,
Okay, well, we can go back to the point you made about women preferring more feminine men.
mm-hmm.
This is actually related to taking birth control. So women who take birth control find more feminine men attractive. And when they stop taking birth control, they don't like it anymore. They tend to go back to the masculine type.
That's right. Was that in that article or?
Maybe it's definitely related, though.
Yeah. I heard that. That's crazy. That's fucked up. So, gentlemen, if you're really trying to get at some girl, you could try and convince her to go on birth control, and she might find you more attractive after that.
Only if you're feminine.
Only if you're feminine. Yeah, if you're ugly, it just doesn't. There's nothing that can help you.
You're a manly man. You got to get one who's not on it.
I mean, I find that men have a distinctive advantage in being able to really actually win a girl over. For girls, it's like men are visually stimulated. If we're not attracted to you, we're never going to be. But for women, it's like if a guy goes through a sudden transformation and he hits the right triggers in a girl at a certain time, she could fall in love with him and completely forget that he's ugly.
It's so true.
Okay, good. So you agree.
I'm over here like, no, I don't. I totally agree. It's happened, so.
Looks are the bottom of my list.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I go for the brain.
So for all of our geeky ugly listeners out there, not that geeky and ugly are synonymous, but for all of our guys out there who are sitting there drooling and probably whacking it too, we just gave you a lot of hope right now. This is excellent. So you heard it here first, and you said the same thing earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think I told you a while ago that I was never happier with one of my exes than when he had gained a bit of weight. I mean, it wasn't like that was his goal. It happened, and I just so happened to still be like really into him, but like more so. I think he was just happier, and I was happier as a result of that. So it didn't affect it. But I guess other people could say like, yeah, he didn't look as good, but I didn't see that.
Yeah. So fat equals happy.
It did. Not always, but it did then.
Yeah, that's interesting. And it's funny. And I mean, throughout methodology of the modern male, I kind of touch on all the different areas that guys can tailor themselves up in, one being cosmetic. And for a guy, like, it's not, man, we build muscle fast. You can go to the gym, if you're balding, shave it, tan, work out your neck a little bit, make everything proportional. These are very, very simple things that you can do, guys.
What about dancing? What about getting your dance classes on or YouTube tutorials at home?
It's harder to teach than, I don't know. I think that
dancing is important, though. I mean, a lot of ladies like to be taken out and go dancing and stuff with their guy. I like to go dancing.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, it doesn't even matter if you can or can't dance as a guy. If you're willing to try and willing to just kind of, even if you look like a fucking retard. You're laughing over there. Did you have a boyfriend that couldn't dance?
Who hasn't had a boyfriend that couldn't dance?
Do tell. Why?
She maybe had a really bad dancer. Uh-oh. 4 left feet.
You're not going to fill me in, are you? You're just going to...
It's just like he didn't hear the music everyone else heard. It's like it wasn't the same thing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But he was trying, right?
He was trying.
Oh, dear.
So I guess in extreme cases, it's laughable. But, anything that makes a girl laugh...
Oh, I ruined that. Sorry.
is also good. No, you didn't ruin it. Honestly, it doesn't matter how bad it is. Just the very fact that you try is going to make you 1,000 times cooler than being insecure and stuck in the corner.
Definitely A for effort for trying.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it's there. And then, if you really want some good dance moves, I recommend the Hollywood Men. They can certainly teach you. Jesus Christ.
Have you been to the Hollywood Men show? Mm-mm. Oh my gosh.
I have.
Guys.
Never heard of it.
I didn't bring tickets for you, but I have tickets for you.
We should go.
What is it?
Compliments of Jared.
It's the male strip review. They're a bunch of male strippers. It's like the Magic Mike show of Hollywood. Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, so I guess they're ramping up on their marketing a little bit. We had them on the show last week, and there was a bunch of Magic Mikes, basically.
But they're all really nice and really smart too. So you kind of got to see their personalities, at least the two.
Yeah, we went out to the show, and I was just like, oh my god, like this, it was crazy. It was insane. They offered me a spot working there. I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but.
That's kind of why I brought it up, because I wanted to see if he was going to go that route.
No.
Do you want to show us your audition?
They didn't even make me audition.
That just got asked, and now if you don't have an A for effort for trying,
oh my god,
your,
did I just
your
get
last
called out on the
point
air?
will be
Oh my
completely
fucking Lord.
nullified.
All right.
Yes.
Wait, we need some music for
So
you, don't
in
we?
general, when you're stripping, okay, you want to take her by the back of her head, and you want to kind of thrust like this, right? No, I'm fucking with you. It starts up here, and it's shoulders back, and then hips. Shoulders back.
Oh,
hips.
okay.
Shoulders back, and then hips.
He's got it.
And then you do the same thing with so you would rotate like a box with your hips. So you go here, and then around, here, and then around, and you do the same thing. So your bottom half is kind of moving this way, while your top half is moving this way. And I don't know. I kind of developed that over time.
Yay.
Bravo.
No audition needed. No, they actually, when they brought me up on stage to announce the Flores Oath giveaway and stuff, they were like, he was like, oh, Jared used to be a stripper and da-da-da-da-da, and you have to show these ladies. And nobody gave a shit about the flowers. We were giving those away. And all these chicks were like, take it off! Stop talking! Take your fucking shirt off! And I was like, holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was it would have been terrifying had there not been so many buff dudes like in the direct vicinity. I mean, shit, these guys are huge too.
They're big guys.
Like 6'5", just blah, and you're like, Jesus Lordy. And then the whole time I'm just sitting here thinking like, I want to look like that. What the fuck, man? I need to get in the gym, get my diet down. But then every time I'm like, I'm gonna do that, some girl, Sarah,
Hey.
is like, don't you ever do that. It's a bad thing.
But yeah, we had a conversation about getting like too buff, getting too vascular. It's not attractive to me after a certain point, because you picture that that's all the person is doing with their entire day, every day to get there. And even if they say that they're not, there's a lot that goes into getting to that point. And then they just talk about the parts like, oh, look at my vein. And you're just like, really?
You gonna name him?
Pretty much.
I name him Ed.
It can be consuming. And then the other person that has to deal with that, God bless them or help them.
I hate to say it, but I mean, this is just basic conjecture. I've noticed throughout the course of my life that people that are very, very focused on fitness, very, very focused on anything in one regard, tend to be lacking in other areas. So I've met guys that are really smart. They know all of the if, ands, and buts, and the medical shit, and they know all the terminology when it comes to fitness. But when you're actually having a conversation with them, they're a little slow about anything that's outside of that. So
they need ADD, basically. They need to have some more categories in their life or something.
Yeah, something. And I mean, I've noticed it as well. I did Muay Thai for years and years and years. And when I was training really, really hard, it was very, very it would be impossible to go and think about other stuff. And actually do medical stuff. Like I would never and I was going to college at the same time as I was training, and I realized very, very quickly that wasn't going to happen. Training 3.5 hours a day and then going to school was just not in the cards. So I quit Muay Thai and I continued to go to school. And then I quit school and went back to Muay Thai. Cool. So we are about to wrap up. Where can people find you? What do you got to promote? What's good?
No, you go ahead. I'm just here on accident, actually, so I'm kind of just.
Sarah will be popping in from time to time.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all of it. Miss Kennedy Summers. Miss Kennedy S is my handle.
Okay. And your website is Miss Kennedy Summers?
KennedySummers.com.
Okay, cool. That's very, very informative. Anything else coming up?
I am giving a speech at a finance conference next week.
Oh, it's exciting.
Thank you. I'm teaching money managers how to deal with millennials instead of baby boomers.
Interesting. I want to pick your brain on that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, not on the money part, but just on the millennial versus baby boomer. It's such an interesting. Have you seen that TED Talk on that?
I haven't,
There's-
but I should watch it probably before the speech.
Yeah. It's actually very liberating and engaging. And then there was a study at Harvard. This guy released. I forget. I'll send it to you. It's it breaks down every generation or decade into these archetypes. So there's like 7 of them, and it's funny because it's like one, like the hero, the artist, and every generation kind of follows these archetypes. And it's funny because we're coming full circle back to our generation, the millennial generation, or the 1950s generation. We're the same one. We're going to come up into our prime, and we're going to create like a better world, like the perfect cookie cutter kind of thing. Like, so when the 50s, that was, we kind of define America by the 50s. And everybody thinks America, we think of it at that golden era. Well, the millennials actually followed a very, very similar upbringing as the people that ended up aging into that generation. So there was the 1920s. They grew up during the Great Depression and And then, by the time they were in their 30s, 40s, 50s, there was that golden era. So we're going to actually end up doing the same thing. And, with the internet and everybody's new thought consciousness, everything's so streamlined, and there's so much changing right now that you could totally see like a little brief utopian society in like 20 years.
All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. And then, we're going to get the fucking new age greasers coming out and being like, fuck yeah, I want to get my hair. I love that movie, Grease. Cool. So, Sarah, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Sarah Beth Harris. Sarah with an H, Beth and Harris.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I have your name as Sarah Chapman on the thing.
You do. And that's fine. If you were to Google search Sarah Chapman, I always tell people this. They're like, well, why do you use Harris? It's just for better search engine optimization, because I don't need to be confused with P. Diddy's baby's first mama and an esthetician in London and some other chick that won Miss Nevada 2011. It's not me.
All right.
But I do get Facebook messages for her. People asking me to like give them pictures in my crown, and I'm like, nope, not me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, another
Sweet.
reason I'm happy that my name is Jared Zavastowski.
Yeah, maybe.
It works out. It has
Maybe
its
change it
perks.
again.
Yeah, and it starts with a Z. It's kind of badass a little bit. My mom was going to name me Zach, but apparently Zach Zavastowski was too much. I could see that, but then I would have been like,
I heard you warming up today, so I think you could have handled it. This guy can sell seashells by the seashore faster than anyone I've ever heard.
well, I think
Just putting it out there for another ego stroke for you.
Sally does sell seashells.
Now I got
nervous.
Sally does sell seashells by the seashore. How many shells did Sally sell? Okay. Well, that's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Modern Male Radio.
Yay.
You're listening to Modern Male Radio with Jared Zavastowski, right here on LA Talk Radio.